Yeah, I don't want to give you guys a sales pitch either. That's really shitty. This whole, like, the spirit of this thing is like, kind of, it's motivational, it's uplifting, and I'm the last thing before lunch, so you don't want a sales pitch before lunch. We didn't bring the food this time. My name is Dan Mouradian. I am the lead creative technology director at PointRoll. I got this job about 8 years ago. Formerly, I was a senior interactive art director at Ogilvy and at Leo Burnett before joining PointRoll. And I got this job because during my interview, I said something that landed me the gig. And it was that I don't know how to do everything. I don't know how to program everything. I'm not a developer, but I know what's possible in digital media, and we're gonna find a way to figure things out. That came from my grandfather. He is a renegade filmmaker from like the 50s, 60s, and 70s. He made a whole bunch of like grindhouse movies. And he has a saying that you don't work with experts, you work with professionals. Experts will tell you every reason why something can't be done before they try it, and professionals will just figure out a way to get it done. So until now, marketers have felt the need to choose between either or. You guys have the pamphlet on the table, so I won't belabor this part of it, but we've focused on local or national. We've focused on branding or direct response. We've focused on ad efficiency, or we focused on creativity. So I'm here today to tell you to stop doing that shit, that you don't have to focus on either or anymore. You can do both. And so let me tell you a couple things that we know. As marketers, we want to sell things. We know that 90% of shoppers do their research online, but that 90% of purchases still happen in store. So we know that. We also know that 4 out of every 5 consumers want and expect ads to be relevant to their city, their zip code, their immediate surroundings. Those facts are according to Google and Ipsos. So in the world of digital advertising, relevance really comes down to one piece of technology, and that's dynamic ad serving. Breaking it down really simply, dynamic can be thought of as 3 very simple things. There's always going to be a data component, there's always going to be a content component, and there's always going to be rules. Okay, we'll talk about each one of those individually. Data is what we know about the user. It's where they are, it's what they've done, what they've looked for, what they've bought, what they haven't bought, what they've left in their carts, what they've abandoned, sites that they have visited. First-party data is data that you collect yourselves as a brand. Second-party data is someone else's first-party data that you buy, like a publisher, and their user base. And third-party data is stuff that third parties collect about users and then will resell to you guys. So that's data. Data identifies the person, and we use data to drive decisions with our ads, okay? And the next part is content, right? So all content is one of 2 things. It's either digital or it's physical. And as brands, there's a lot of content complexity that we deal with every single day. There's many different types of contents. For branding, content complexity is a very real thing. There's the websites that we have to build. There's the assets for the brand. There's reviews, there's prices, there's incentives, there's products, there's a lot of different pieces of content that is out there. Now, how many of you work with or for a brand that has a single centralized location for all their content that all of their marketing efforts can draw from? Right? Seems like that should be something that's out there. So what we've created is our content activation engine. That's a place that we can ingest any piece of content. We can store it, we can onboard it, and then you can activate it through the use of an API. And it doesn't matter what that content is. It can be a physical thing, like a circular that you put out there. It can be a digital thing, like an offers and incentives database that we're using to drive our websites. It can be product reviews that we're collecting from third parties. It can be anything that's either digital or physical can be brought in and then activated through the use of an API. So that's the goal of the content activation engine. The reason we don't already have something like this is really easy. It's silos, right? We all work in places that have lots and lots of silos. The e-com team has the products and prices and everything like that, silo, right? The creative agency has the brand assets and the images, silo. Okay, got it, right? So the social team gets better targeting or different targeting than the online advertising team, silo, okay? So here's the thing. We know that those silos control all the stuff that we have to work with, all the marketing that we have to do, they're out there. We have to try and get people in together, and we have to try and talk and create the different marketing efforts that we're trying to do. The content complexity that we face every single day is a very real thing. But here's the thing. It doesn't matter to a consumer. I don't care. Our operational inefficiencies are not client-facing problems. So all of that content complexity that we're trying to deal with every single day that's stopping one idea from happening doesn't matter to a consumer. They're both digital and physical. We know that 90% of research is done online and 90% of buying is done in store, digital and physical. So that brings us to rules, right? The smartest way to think about this is consider any data source you want, data and content, and put them together. So the rules infrastructure is basically, for this piece of data, show this piece of content. Data can be as simple as the user's location, their current weather outside, what the snowcast is going to be in the next 4 months for Vail. There's unlimited data sources out there, and it's an ever-growing stream of data. If there's something that you think you can use to make your experience more relevant to your users or to your consumers, do a little bit of research, and I guarantee you'll find somebody who's already collecting that data and using it. So with that, any questions? We have mics.
No questions? Oh, I'm sorry, excuse me. I guess that's that. Thanks, Dan, that was great. That was really interesting. So I